name's Sharon Fisher, and I have a blog called Twitchy Woman, which you may or may not have heard of, and I run a program on Sunday mornings for a Zoom meeting, webinars on Sunday mornings for women with Parkinson's called Sunday Morning with Twitchy Woman. And during the pandemic, we discovered that people were so isolated that they really were having a hard time finding people to talk to, finding somebody that they could lean on during the pandemic. And it became very clear that we wanted to set up a mentoring program for women with Parkinson's because I was getting phone calls from people who were on their way home from the neurologist saying, I found you on the internet, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I need help. Because there was nowhere for them to go. I mean, when you were newly diagnosed, did you go to a neurologist, a support group? You went to boxing class, yoga, whatever it was, and that became your support system. That was gone. So we started this mentoring program, all volunteer, totally volunteer run. 10 women volunteered to put the program together. We did it literally in 3 months, and we were up and running. And since November of 2021, I think it was, till now we've matched 170 women with mentors. We've had this success rate has been amazing. So I happen to have here some of my wonderful women who are participating. This is Bonnie, and her mentee, Elisa. They're each going to tell you a little bit about their stories, and then I have Eileen and Ethel who are Eileen and Ethel who are wonderful mentors, and they're going to each tell you a little bit about how the experience has been for them. And I also want to thank Susan Lehman, who could not be here today, was the principal writer on this piece, and it's her work of love. So anyway, thank you.
Hi, my name's Bonnie, and I live in Montana. And if you know anything about the United States of Montana, it's pretty rural. We got our very first movement disorder specialist last year in the entire state. Really? So when I was diagnosed in 2015, I did not have a lot of support and a lot of help. And I didn't really want it at that time. I was kind of like, I was 49. I didn't really want a lot of help. I think I got this. But a couple of years later, the pandemic started, and I was realizing I did need help, and I ended up finding Twitchy Woman on the internet through some other people that, I learned how to use Zoom during COVID, so just like everybody else. Met everybody from this out. That's all I knew. So about 5 years later, after diagnosis, it was kind of obvious that I had gone over the hump and realized that this wasn't the end, and there was a lot of living to be done and a lot of life to live. So I thought, when they started the mentor program, I said I could probably help somebody because I was feeling pretty positive about everything, and wish that I had somebody to talk to at the same when I was, newly diagnosed. So they matched me up with Elisa. They were supposed to match me up with somebody that was close geographically. As I said, Montana is not a very populous state, so I ended up with somebody that was only one time zone over in Southern California. So I met Elisa over the phone, and I got to tell you, I was nervous about it. I'm like, what am I going to say? How's it going to go? Am I going to sound like an idiot? What am I going to say the wrong thing? But it turned out that we ended up being really good friends over the course of time. And we talked a lot on the phone, did a lot of texting. She is a rabid texter, but it's like one after another. If I get 4 dings in a row, I know Elisa's texting me. It's just the stream of consciousness. So anyhow, we met. She actually came up a couple of months after we were paired up, and did some hiking, hung out in Yellowstone, where my brother still works as a ranger. And I went down there the next winter to do a bike ride in Palm Springs, and I would say we're still in that mentor-mentee relationship, but we switch roles a lot. So now we're just friends, and we hang out, and we actually traveled here together to the WPC. So I'll turn it over to you.
So like I said, I'm Elisa. I'm her mentee. I was diagnosed during the pandemic at 52, and it's a familiar story. I was sent home with the book with the stooped man, an old man, and said, good luck. And but they also linked me to the Rock Steady program. But I live in a retirement community, so all of the people with PD had pretty much late onset, so I was like, it just freaked me out. So then the same rock steady coach said, I do know about this Twitchy Woman thing, and I was like, well, that's a great name, first of all. And so I immediately signed up for the mentor-mentee because I had no one to talk to. And she just really was perfect for me because she's an exerciser like I am. She's very positive and active. We just hit it off, and I think the most thing she helped me with is a lot of things at 52 happen that aren't PD, and I call her up or text her and I'd be like, is this PD? She's like, no, that's being 52. So
It's not medical advice.
Yeah, we do not give
but she really demystified the whole disease and made me feel like I'm not gonna die, like I can live a full life, and she's amazing. She's much more of an athlete than I am, but she taught me how to paddleboard. I stood up pretty well.
She didn't fall.
I didn't fall. So yeah, it's just been a wonderful experience. The whole Twitchy Woman has been such an integral part of me in my new journey.
Thank you. Next.
Okay,
We can give you the floor.
thank you. Whoop. I'm Eileen Benton. I'm from Baltimore, and I found Twitchy Woman in about June of 2020 when I'd been diagnosed for less than a year, and my doctor had basically handed me a prescription and said, I'll see you in 6 months. And so I was looking for information. I was looking for good information, and I stumbled upon Twitchy Women in there. When the mentor program started, I actually started off as a mentee, and I found it a wonderful experience. And my mentor said, "Well, you should become a mentor." And I said, "Well, give me another 6 months. I wanted a year before I switched over." So I've been a mentor for about a year and a half now. I've worked with 3 different women, and for me, the real goal was to be able to give back what I had received, and to help other women with deal with that challenge of, now what do I do that the doctor said I've got PD.
Hi, I'm Ethel Meyer. I was diagnosed in 2017 via email. A doctor who's no longer my doctor said, I had did an office visit. He said, I think you have PD, we'll do a DAT scan. And I was waiting for him to call and tell me the diagnosis. I got an email that said, as we discussed, you have Parkinson's. That's literally what I got. No have a nice day, no here's some resources. So I started Googling, and I found Twitchy Woman. So I was with Sharon before the pandemic, when it was just a website and maybe a few emails back then.
Yeah, we emailed a few times, but it
And
was
Sharon came
basically
to
just
Chicago and we visited. So I was with, and then when the mentor program started up, I had obviously switched doctors by then. But I had learned a lot about Parkinson's, and I like learning about things. That's why I'm here. And so I started this mentor program. This looks pretty good because the mentor program would be a way that I can learn about things, because when you teach someone else, you learn it yourself. When they ask questions, you say, well, I never thought of that. I wonder how that works. So I found a way to learn things on my own. Mm-hmm. And they matched me up with, I think I've had 5 or 6 mentees at various stages. There's a couple that I still email, 1 regularly, 2 periodically, and a couple let me know if they have questions. But the program is not one where you stay in contact unless you want to. You just kind of give people the push out the door. This is where you need, and go fly, little bird, go fly. And so you give them the wings to fly, and it's been a very rewarding experience.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
People ask questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Questions, please.
Any questions? Feel free to take pictures. There's cards here. There's some pill bottles there with our logo on it.
What are those?
These are PJ. You can put your pills in them. Feel free to take. But anyway, questions.
So you find each other, yes, you
have
find
a
each other over the internet.
We have we have a mentor application and a mentee application. So you fill it out. We have 2 women we have a volunteer team that goes over everything, and they make the match. So they look. 2 of the women are in charge of looking at the mentor applications. two others look at the mentee applications, and then they talk to make recommendations. And they look at the whole person. We try to get as much information as we can about these people ahead of time so that we can make a match. And so far we've had over a 90% success rate. So it's working.
Yeah.
Do you do any training for your mentors?
We do a Zoom call occasionally, but we found that most of the people who are mentors, who apply to be mentors, really their heart is in it. They know what they know up here. We've all been there at some point. I'm sure you've all gotten those phone calls. Can you meet with my friend? Yes, and so you know what it's like to be a mentor. That you have become a mentor if you've ever met with somebody to talk about Parkinson's. So,
Do you all get together at any point? Like do events, sort of? Or?
We're all over the place. We have people as far away as Australia, Iceland, UK, Italy. I mean, it has become truly a global movement. So Sunday mornings, we meet about twice a month on Sundays. You're welcome to join us. There's some cards here, there's a QR code up there if you want to look.
So how do you do it regarding language?
Yeah, I was wondering the same.
Everything is English. Everything is in English.
Everything is in English on our
Okay.
part, but if we haven't had a language problem so far.
Okay.
It's because I'm from Germany and I know about your program. I know you.
We've
We know
been in
each.
touch.
We've been in touch, but the Germans they are not cared for because if they don't speak English or they don't feel confident enough, they simply don't use these
The
offers.
same of Italian people.
Yeah,
When she
yeah,
said
exactly
she had
the same.
people
And
in
here in
Italy, I was
Somebody-
wondering.
We have an American who lives in Italy. So, but I'm sure she speaks Italian. She's been
It's a
living there
group
for a
of
long
women.
time.
They have their own.
So if you were interested, we would have you, if you were looking for a mentor, she would be the likely person. We try to take that into account. Do you speak what languages do you speak? And if we have somebody, so far we have not had a problem matching anybody. But we're not on such a huge scale that.
You're exactly. You're relatively young still. So.
Right.
So I hear there's a similar group in Spain.
No, I just told them because she said for the Spanish ladies, they said the Spanish ladies can go to the Parkinson.
Company does the same thing. Sabila has been, we've been invited, she's come to speak to our group. We all know each other.
Okay.
For the young
Okay.
onset
We
or for
work
the young
together,
ones,
we
it's
know.
Parkinson's world is quite small.
Yeah.
But this group in Spain, it's really the only one of the European countries that has a strong group of women. And they're doing a lot of what we're doing.
Thank you very much.
Do you have some young onset women who are mentors? Great.
Absolutely.
We do have a manual.